This is arguably the longest Titleist driver that I've ever tested. And it's going to cost you less than £200 to try and recreate it. I've done it. That is an absolute monster. However, even though in my hands, this is one of the longest drivers I've ever tested, I want to explain why this is such a difficult combination to wield, even at a pretty generous club head speed, and ultimately explain to you guys how you can find the longest driver for your game, especially on a budget. We've got some very interesting stuff going on in this combination, and we'll get to that in a minute. Now, I found this driver combination in the bundle of equipment that Rob, if you watched my last video, tasked me with trying to sell for him. And it makes a lot of sense why I've instantly fallen in love with this club. Now the challenge of today's video is to beat the indoor record. What I mean by that is Stealth currently holds the record, 8 degrees lofted down with a hazardous smoke shaft. But this is the first time I've tested a TS4 head. Obviously I've warmed up and hit a few shots with it already. Oh, even out the heel, that's going to go an absolute mile. But interestingly, I want to talk about why I think the TS4 is arguably the best value long ball Titleist machine there is, especially if you get the right head and shaft. Currently averaging 335 with the driver, even not out the middle. That's a promising start. Now, before the TS range, Titleist did the 917 and only did it in 2 head styles, the D2 and the D3. The D3 being more like this. However, the TS series had 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is arguably so much deeper in the face and so much shallower front to back that it is essentially, well, a long drive head. And as we all know, club faces haven't got any faster, therefore this for me is the pound for pound longest Titleist TS driver you can possibly get when it comes to value for money. Not to mention, this is the first time I've tested one of these drivers with a 6.5 TX shaft in it. Which is really, really important, and why I want to go through you my guide to help you guys find the right driver and shaft combination for your budget and your level. So let me show you how I got the calculation for the value of this driver. The TS4 ranges from about £120 to £200, depending on who's selling it. I think auction-wise, I can see some of these 8.5s going for, well, 130, 140, 150. And to be fair, you're unlikely to get this typical shaft in it, even though a lot of you probably won't need the 6.5 TX. But you could easily get this driver for £150, sell the shaft in it for 70, 80, as they have all very good shafts in it. And I'll show you some TX hazardous shafts on the market at the moment, going for about £100 each. So you buy this for 150, sell the shaft for 50, 60, 70, buy the new one, £190 or thereabouts. So let me explain why this is almost impossible to hit for a lot of golfers, because you need to hit it hard to, well, get it off the ground. 100 miles an hour, not slow by anyone's standard. That's a pretty good hit. What was that? 96. Watch it nosedive out the air. 1,200 backspin. Oh, that's got to be the money. 98, pretty close. Decent club head speed, very good efficiency, on the up, slightly on the inside. In terms of a driver swing, that's so good. However, a bad shot, this is going to crucify you. You hit this left, that's going to launch slower. I mean, that's not going to carry more than 150 yards. Whereas I use the Titleist TS3, and by all means, this isn't a forgiving head anyway, but 10.5 degrees loft, standard tensile blue stiff, but just notice the launch and height difference. 103, pretty close to the mark. Obviously 5 miles an hour faster, which we have to take into consideration, but obviously I've launched it higher, maybe a tiny bit more up, maybe a tiny bit more on the inside, but look how much more spin, but look at the carry. I mean, that's almost 30 yards carry, plus obviously a lot more distance, and if I was to hit it left, well, it's not going to just drop out the air as soon as I've hit it. Now, if you're someone that's always struggled with a lot of spin, hazardous smoke, forget the Tour X stiff version, a 6.0 is incredibly low spinning. Not to mention, you put a low lofted driver head, i.e. 8.5, loft it down. With this combination, I mean, even at my speed, not out the middle, that's just nosedived out of the air. 121 miles an hour. But because I've hit it here, 500 backspin. Not ideal, which is what I want to explain to you guys, especially if you go for a driver fitting. The TS4 in this shaft, if I catch one, I'm going to get 360, 370 out of it. I've got no hope in ever getting this version of the TS3 and the stiff flex shaft, because as fast as I swing it, the more spin, the more height. However, out the heel, off the toe, slightly left, slightly right, on average, I'm going to be better. Whereas this is very much a cruel mistress. You need to treat her very well. And you don't necessarily have to worry about torque too much, mainly because manufacturers lower the torque the stiffer the shaft. It makes sense. Someone that can swing at 120 miles an hour probably will have quite a quick tempo. And because they have a quick tempo, that face wants to shut. And as someone that suffers with the big pull hooks every now and again, having incredibly low torque with this shaft, so with that in theory, if you slice the ball a lot, forget your club head speed. I couldn't care how fast you swing it. If you're swinging at 105 miles an hour and everything keeps going right, don't put an X stiff shaft in. Don't even bother with a stiff flex. Go to regular flex. Get that club face turning on the way down and adding backspin so you don't hit the ball 80 yards to the right-hand side. Ultimately, once you've got your club path and club face technique down, yes, you're going to be losing distance with your 10.5-degree reg flex driver, but once you start seeing really high hooks like myself, then it kind of makes sense to go more down this stiff, low torque route with a low spinning head, so you can hit it 280, you can hit it 290. Right, let's see how far we can hit this thing. That was a very good start. Oh my, oh my. Oh, we're going to hit the green. We're going to hit the green. Right, let's take the jumper off. Bit more flexibility and movement. Let's see if we can start shifting it. I'm not leaving till it goes on the green. Decent club head speed. What's the carry on her? 340, 3.6. That's close to the personal best in the room. 6 shots in. Right, 369 to beat. Another great hit. I think that's not going to get there though. Not out the middle. Be the one. Oh, that's a monster. That's a monster. Stay on line. Keep going. Keep going. No. Oh, be the one. Be the one. Go. Go hard. That's the one. That is the one. I've done it. That is an absolute monster. That is a monster. Land on the green. Get up there. Release. Go on. Amazing numbers at 127 miles an hour. 15 degrees launch. Spin at 2.2. Carry 3.45. Total distance 3.71. And it went straight. Guys, if you have any questions about your swing or your golf bag, sasgolfacademy.com. Catch you guys later.